Good afternoon, Lance and Michelle here with Aspen Creek Properties. Today the baseboards are going in the Clinton flip, and to give it that finishing look, Michelle is spraying caulk all over the place. Michelle, why don't you give us some pointers on how to use the caulk?
So, the first thing is you want to make sure you have a really good quality caulk. You don't want to use the cheap stuff. It just makes a mess and doesn't spread evenly. So get yourself a good caulk and a good caulk gun.
What kind of equipment do you like to have when you're using the caulk?
I do prefer to have knee pads because when you're doing a lot of caulking, especially on baseboards, you're down on your knees a lot. I forgot my knee pads today, so I'm just dealing with it, but knee pads are a must. Also a wet rag because this stuff gets everywhere. It gets all over your hands, it gets all over the floor, basically everywhere. So a wet rag is a must.
Why don't you go ahead and show us how you use the caulk?
Okay, so you'll notice on this side, it's all nice and nailed in, but there's a big gaping hole at the top. So we're gonna use the caulk to fill in the gaping hole.
So you just run that caulk right along the crack?
You run the caulk along the crack, yes. And you wanna make sure you're applying even, but gentle pressure, not too hard.
What happens if you use too much pressure while you're caulking?
Then you get too much caulk and the job gets done too fast.
You don't want it squirting out all over the place?
You do not want it squirting out all over the place. You just want a nice, even caulk line. See how much better that works?
What do you do after you run that bead of caulk?
Sometimes, if you do a really good job with the caulk, you can just leave it. Other times, you need to run your finger along, get off some of the excess.
Now, do you do a dry finger or do you lick your finger and get it wet first?
I prefer to use the wet rag, so a little damp finger does a little better job. You run it along, get a smooth line, and you're done. And then you follow through with your wet rag and wipe it off the wall.
And you can see that makes a world of difference when you know how to use the caulk correctly.
Takes a lot of practice. I'm a bit of a caulk expert at this point.
All right, this is Lance and Michelle with Aspen Creek Properties. Have a good day.